Hi guys, here we have the 1.5 notes day 1. So this is solving for y. Our whole goal today is we want to be able to solve equations for a specific variable. So we'll get equations that look like this, and we have to solve just for the y. We're going to do that by first looking at a definition of a literal equation. Then we are going to review a two-step equation. We're going to do a little practice, and then we're going to do a your turn. So a literal equation is basically an equation that contains multiple variables. Now, in our last section, we had like one equation that would have 2 or 3 x's in it. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about an equation that has maybe an x, and then somewhere else a y, and somewhere else a z, or an a, any combination of these in one equation. So if I think about my two-step equations where I just have one variable and I have to solve for y, we follow some pretty basic steps. So here I want to get y by itself. I'm trying to isolate the variable. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So now I have 6y equals 30. My next step is I want to divide both sides by 6. So now I have y equals 5. So I got y by itself, and I got y equals a number. Today, though, the rest of what we do, we're not going to get y equals a number. We're going to get y equals another equation. So let's take a look. Here I have 6x plus y equals 0. I want to get y by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. I want only y over here. So I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. So I have y equals negative 6x because I subtracted 6x from both sides. After I do these, I'm going to line them up so we can kind of see what I did, right? So the y stayed as it is, and I subtracted 6x from both sides. 0 minus 6x is 6x. It is finished. We know this problem is done when I have the y by itself. Notice my instructions say solve for y. Solve for y. Y is by itself. That's what it means. Same thing. We're solving for y. So just like I did over here, the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 8x from both sides so that I have 2y equals 6 minus 8x. The next thing I want to do is I want to make sure I solve for y. I want y by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Actually, I'm going to write that out for you. 6 minus 8x divided by 2. Now what is that? What does that mean? So I'm now going to take my 6 and divide it by 2, and then take my 8 and divide it by 2. Notice it has to go to both of them. I can't just divide this by 2. Both of them need to be divided by 2. So I'm going to get 3 minus 4x. This is really important. This is like the hardest part to see of the whole day. Is that 6 divided by 2 got me 3, and negative 8 divided by 2 got me negative 4. Here we go with another problem. Trying to get y by itself. What's nice about this one is that the other variable's already on the other side. So I want you to know that right away, if you want to get y on the left, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch these up. I'm going to say this is 3y plus 3 equals 5x minus 12. Now I'm just trying to get everything that's on the y side away from it. Just like I did up here when I was solving this equation. I added 12 to both sides. This time I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So 3y equals 5x minus 12 minus 3, so minus 15. because my minus 3 came over here to join the minus 12. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 3, so y equals 5x minus 15 divided by 3, which just like we did up here, it has to go to both of them. Y equals 5 divided by 3 is just 5/3 x. 15 divided by 3 is 5, so minus 5. Here is another example I want to show you, because sometimes we think that we can just subtract this 4 and then this negative disappears, but that's not what happens. Let me line this up quick so we can see that. Right, straight line, we see what happens each time. Okay, here, if I have 4x minus y equals 12, I subtract 4x from both sides, but the negative on the y needs to stay with it. So see that? I subtract 4x because the 4x is positive. So now I have a negative y. To get rid of that, I need to multiply both sides by negative 1. So I'm going to put that right there. Times 12 minus 4x. So I'm multiplying this whole side, everything on that side, just like everything on that side was divided by 2. Everything on this side needs to be multiplied by negative 1. So the last thing I do in this case is the distributive property. Y equals negative 12 plus 4x. Negative 1 times 12 is negative 12. Negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. For these, we know we're done when y is all by itself on one side. The last example I'm going to do with you, and then you are going to do these on your own. So here I have 5x minus 12 equals 3y plus 3. So I'm going to go ahead and get my y's by itself. So this time, well, this is the same one we just did. I'm not going to make us do that one again. Sorry, I only have 4 examples for us, which is good. That's all we really need. Here is yours. So this is your turn. Last thing I need you to do is, this is on the back of your notes. There's probably not much room on the front for it. I'm going to give you time starting right now, and when I come back, I will show you the answers. So pause it if you need to. What I want you to see here is that we have y equals negative 5 plus 2x, and we have y equals negative 1 minus 1/2 x. We are never going to leave our answer as this divided by negative 3. And I also want you to know that in your homework, which is 3 through 10 in Clever, you're never going to have an answer with a fraction. All of your fractions will be, all of your answers will be whole numbers, not fractions. This homework is due, so make sure we work on that after we take these notes. And there is a exit ticket, but it's not after this one. It's actually after 1.5 day 2. So make sure we wait on that. Thank you very much. Have a great day.